Feast of Prosperity is drawing to a close, so we are going to talk about the story, and we'll spoil a little bit, but we'll give you warning. We'll talk about achievements and the rewards. That and more on this episode of the Escape Podcast for Star Wars The Old Republic. Our broadcast astromech today is EPC 359. And playing alongside me is Seema. Hi, Seema. How's it going?
Hi, Max. Going pretty well. Let's see. This is Thursday night. We just finished our ops night, but before that on Tuesday we had MFN, where we went and killed Karaga in Karaga's Palace and all the bosses leading up to him. So that was a KP night, because, you know, we do that every once in a while. And that pretty much fills up the evening, actually, Karaga's Palace, right? Or we didn't do anything after that, did we?
No, because we took our time. We had a bunch of people that had never been there before. Again.
Which is great. That's
and
what we love.
We make people watch the cutscenes, and yeah, so that was all we did that night.
Yeah. And our tank who did Karaga, the last fight, which was Kehohu, I hope I'm saying that right. He tanked him my favorite way, which is hardly moving at all.
Yeah.
So by the time that Karaga was dead, he was still like way far away from the elevator. I know, I get the appeal of trying to get him to die on the elevator, but the whole thing goes so much more smoothly when you hardly move him at all. So anyway, that was fun. What else do I have to say about this week? Well, we've been doing the Feast of Prosperity. I did the story part and I did the world bosses a few times because I'm kind of enjoying. I know I've said in the past that I don't like world boss stuff, but that's when you're there as a group and you're trying to, beat some other group to it. The way it kind of evolves for this is where people just form up a group and everybody kills them together. I like that.
Yeah. Yep.
And I noticed a couple times during the first week that I would go to like where the world boss was, and if you haven't played the Feast of Prosperity yet, there's a quest where you have to get an ingredient that a particular world boss drops. So like when I went to Corellia on day 1 or day 2, my only point was going to be there's a couple times where I didn't get in a group because it was full. So I mean that's pretty cool too.
Yeah.
I mean, I did eventually, but it's cool that there's just a lot of people doing it.
It's been great.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm enjoying that aspect. I haven't played a lot in the games yet, because like when I did swoop races, I did a lot of swoop racing, and I went for the achievements, and I did the weekly and the dailies and all that stuff. But I guess for the Feast of Prosperity, I'm thinking, well, I'm going to have next year and the next year and the next year, so I'll get to the games eventually. But I haven't done a lot of the games. And by the games, I mean when you go in the kitchen and you click on things and serve things. I did them all. I did them once, but yeah. So anyway, that's my week in SWTOR. How are things going with you, Max?
Good as well. I did the Feast weeklies, enough to complete the weeklies last week and 2 weeks ago, and I'm almost done. I'll do them this week as well because that's given me enough of the tokens to get a bunch of the rewards, and we'll show off a little bit of what I got. I don't know if you saw me.
Yeah, and there's a lot of decos. I did. Yes. Because you were like, "Oh, look at me! I'm toasting, and I'm toasting again, and I'm toasting."
And I'm still toasting. To bottoms up, everybody. Another drink another toast. That's another of my wedding toasts that I'm practicing. Bottoms up, I'll use. Yeah, so I've had a lot of fun with that. I've finished the story. I've done Conquest quite a bit. And Conquest, this galactic, I need to be able to pause individual Conquest targets, Conquest objectives. Because, what was the big one? It was 67,000 for Galactic Conquest, kill 200 things.
Mm-hmm.
Galactic Rampage, defeat enemies, 200. I'm at like 180 or something, and I just want to get the world boss done on Tatooine because I'm in there just to do some of the dailies for the feast. On Nar Shaddaa. It was Nar Shaddaa the day I did it so far this week. I go there, forming up the group. Let's just kill this boss. We'll get it done. and they won't stop killing the ads. You know, there's those people all around the outside, and they're like
Right.
killing them. I'm like, oh darn, it's gonna. And I go to you know, I hit L just to check where I'm at, and as I'm hitting L, bam, it hits the 265,000, and literally 30 seconds before that, I hit 50,000 and completed the weekly, completed conquest
Yeah.
for the week. So now I'm
Yeah.
at 171,000, you know, for the week so far, because I played my mercenary more than that. And it spills over. I could have. This is like 3 characters worth of rewards, and it reinforces that great idea that we've said a couple times now. And I need to call. Where's my Keith phone? Keith, got to do this thing, which is we should be able to get, no matter what character we're on, every time you hit another 50,000, you get another, you get credit for a weekly. That would be great.
I would vote for that. That would be cool.
I'd buy that for $1, or yeah.
Yes. Right. I'd buy that for
I would.
$15 a month.
The easy part would be triggering another personal reward every 50,000 credits, or 50,000 points. The hard part would be when you log in the following Tuesday. What happens then, and how do you give a character 3, you know, because they're at 150,000, 3 of the weekly guild target rewards on Tuesday? I don't know.
I don't know, but I actually wouldn't mind getting all the rewards on one character, because I oftentimes don't log in all my characters that would get guild and I come back to them like in 2 weeks, because we tend to do week pub, week imp.
Yeah, I would
And
like
then
it too,
and then
but
like
I just know that would be a little bit more of a difficult proposition for them to go and do that.
true.
So that has been fun. I'm looking here. Tenebrous Star, which is BC, is standing in front of me, looking very brutish, looking very emo in that little hood hood toggle. Where's my hood toggle? So that is
Would you like some of this haunch of meat, or like this giant like kidney thing?
anything.
Over here
Well,
there's a bug.
there's a bug. Good, delicious bug. No, I want these drinks again. I tried to find these drinks. You do not have these drinks available on the reward vendor. And then final note to the chat room, because I saw a question in there. We will spoil the story of the Feast of Prosperity, but not till the second half of the show. We'll give you plenty of warning before we get to that. Right now, we are going to spoil the news.
Now, an Imperial News Network report.
First up, as we like to talk about at the beginning of our news segment every week, we had a little bit of Bugwatch. Bugwatch, the key thing that stood out to me in Bugwatch was continuing an investigation into whatever the deal was with that Belsavis world boss not responding. It was first reported on the Darth Malgus server. It has also been reported elsewhere. The key thing which they seem to have discovered is that it seems to be related to, if you're killing that world boss in particular and somebody kites the ads away and you kill the boss and then the ads reset, well, now the whole boss fight is in an indeterminate state. The boss is dead, you got credit for that, but the boss doesn't respawn because the ads were kited away. So don't kite the ads, just kill the ads, make sure you get them down. If you do that,
Well,
hopefully it's okay.
I mean,
Hopefully.
kill them like after you kill the boss, preferably, but yeah.
But it's an important bug because, as we were saying in the lead up, this is a really great part of what they did with making these world bosses really viable as an event target, in that they respawn constantly, and it's awesome. So I could see how that would be kind of broken if that wasn't working on your server. There's that.
That pause means I'm supposed to say something.
Yes, it does.
Okay, here we go. Game update 6.1.4c came out this week, which was a bug fix thing. You can tell by the numbering. Not a lot of stuff going on there. Some fix for the PvP queue, some quest fixes or mission fixes. There was a fun bug with guild summon where sometimes if you summoned people onto uneven terrain, it would kill everybody. But sadly, they fixed that one.
Sadly, I loved this. I loved this.
Yeah.
I love random ways to kill your friends. I'm a big
Yeah.
fan of it. I wish there was more of those in the game.
If you happen to have lying around any renown tokens left over from, I guess, left over from back in the day when they were actual items that were consumable, you can click on them now. Apparently, there was a bug where if you didn't have a subscription, you couldn't click on them, but you can now. Yes, unidentified barrels and hilts will now correctly come into your inventory, even if you cannot use a barrel or cannot use a hilt when you buy them from the Spoils of War vendor.
Nice.
And then also, I guess killing Isaacs was not giving you the correct amount of conquest points. So that's been fixed. That's the kind of thing that I would not notice. I would just go, huh, conquest points.
Yeah. Yeah, I wouldn't notice that either, but right. Well, what's the correct amount? In fact, now I couldn't tell you. Was it more or less? Was it? I mean, I guess if it
No,
was like 1 conquest point, then I would notice. But
that would stand out. Yeah.
but like if it was 0, I wouldn't
Yeah.
notice. Or if it was 50,000, I wouldn't notice. But it was something like 1, I guess, or 1,000,000. Also in the news, we got another dev team interview that went into. It shows up in Dev Tracker. You can link to it. You can get the link. It's an interview with one of the world designers named Alison Berryman. Berryman. Great name. They've got some great names. What was the other? It was Harkness. Somebody Harkness was who wrote up one of the other. I love that we're hearing about all these additional developers, people on the dev team, and in fact, someone else was named. Dave Schramek did work on the Cantina Rush part of the event. Alison Berryman did some of the world design for the event. Alison was also a senior community manager back in the day. And then they named one other of the dev team people that I had never heard of before who did some of the dialogue work. I really like that we're hearing about all of these people on the dev team. That's great. This is Caitlin Sullivan Kelly for polishing up the dialogue. So that's cool to hear from new people. It's also really cool. It's a fine interview. I enjoyed reading through it. They talked a little bit of Alison went through a little bit of why they did this. Some of it's what you would expect, and she says it's what you would expect. We're trying to get an events that make the world feel alive, events that would be pure, would be a calendar event. So this will come back next fall. The fall kinds of events tend to be that kind of harvest feast kind of thing. But then some of the things automatically sort of flowed from that concept, which was, well, who's going to throw a big party, a big feast, and all of that? Well, it'd probably be huts. That seems to make sense. And then some of the other decisions sort of flowed from that. I liked that, and I also liked her description of why they went with world bosses as being a key component, because I agree. I like having reasons to go back to other planets. We've got this big galaxy. I don't want to be one and done with any of the planets. We like to go back and either do rampages or achievements or world bosses from time to time. And then they also talked about these mini games, and part of it was, hey, these are interesting kind of questy mini games we've had in mind. Throwing them into an event like this gives us the opportunity to get some of those ideas into practice and see what they look like and see how they work out, and a chance to do some, develop some of these systems within the game engine, within the development tools that they currently have, that they would not necessarily have been able to do before. Sort of an opportunity to, the way she described it was almost an opportunity to practice doing this kind of thing. And I agree. I like the kind of event, the delivery one where you're the astromech droid and you deliver the dishes. That one's okay. It's fine. I like the cooking one, especially when you look at all of the different recipes that it's possible to cook, and then the hard mode version where all the ingredients are lit up. It's a twist on that kind of cooking assembly, make the wine kind, or whatever, the cook the thing that's showed up in a bunch of MMOs. It's similar to a thing that's been out there elsewhere, but it's a nice Star Wars spin on it, and it was built out quite well. I like it. And I like how the robot sort of judges you at the end and says things like, well, it's not completely terrible, so good job. There's that. How about the music, Seema?
Oh, thank you for that segue. So this week we got some more music on YouTube, which my phone has been playing for me, which I've enjoyed. And actually, I really like that they publish these things on YouTube because I forget about the music, and then this kind of brings it to the forefront for me, and I do enjoy listening to it. So thumbs up from me anyway.
I won't play it. You can. The two new tracks are linked in the dev tracker as well, but they're all on the SWTOR YouTube channel. I won't play it because that's the fastest way to get a takedown notice or get your video muted on YouTube. So I will not do that. But I know a lot of people that talk about playing these on a regular basis and liking to have a bunch of those soundtracks up there. And Daniel Steed says, yes, this is something we like as well, and we're going to be more careful about putting more of the music up there on a regular basis and making sure that we have it available to you. So I think that's really cool. And maybe I will make a playlist for myself so that I can play it once in a while when I'm looking for something to be my soundtrack while I'm doing work, dressed up in my squadron uniform as I do for work.
Yeah. He does.
In Guild and Community News, what do we got there? I know Marcus of the Working Class Nerds podcast. He's a little busy, isn't he? So we'll have to see.
Yeah,
what's
so
going on
he's
there.
actually moving this week, which is a huge undertaking. So that's kind of taking up his energy. Not sure what's going on with Mega this month, but stay tuned and we will let you know. And then tomorrow night, because today being Thursday, well, actually, in my world, it's actually Friday now. But so tonight on Friday, yeah, show up for whatever's going on tonight. It's going to be either the achievement group or the Master Mode Flashpoint group. I think it's the achievement group.
I think it's the achievement group as well. I think we mentioned that on Tuesday night. The achievement group is set up between B. Kavanaugh and Kyohu, and they go after the more difficult to get achievements, like go to a planet and kill 50 players, and they set it up. They try to get multiple groups and do things like that. Or hey, you got to go kill 1,000 of these things. More fun to do with friends. That's what they're trying to line up. And every other Friday, they're going after kinds of achievements like that. Open to anyone on the server. So just check in on our guild Discord, and you can get in on one of those groups if you want to just go after achievements in general.
Yes.
Also in community news, UtiniCast episode 400 was this week. I was watching some of it live. We just had Sith Lord Brit in the chat room here. Sith Lord Brit was on it live, as well as a bunch of, Doc SWTOR, Kitty, a bunch of the past co-hosts, and some additional guests. It was cool. And congrats to UtiniCast in general. I mean, UtiniCast has been an inspiration to me as being a really high quality podcast and the longest running podcast. It was a great opportunity to see how that worked and what Chill and Tio were doing, back 9 years ago. That got us to start our podcast about a year after they did. So that was cool.
They were an inspiration. You're right.
And also, shout out to the chat room. Thank you all for coming and joining us live. I see about 20. We've got between 20 and 30 people fluctuating in the chat room there. Shout out to everybody. We'll catch up with you all after the show and chat a little bit. And thank you, everybody that's been getting the word out about this podcast. We had a little glitch this week. I'll try not to rant too much about Reddit, but the podcast is not going to go up on Reddit anymore in the SWTOR subreddit. We had the words "The Mandalorian" in the title, and I guess that was enough for the subreddit mods to decide that maybe this wasn't SWTOR-y enough.
Yeah,
episode
like don't actually listen or anything like that. Just jump to. Don't look at our 8-year record or anything like that.
8-year history, episode 350 358 episodes later, and the first 20 minutes of the podcast didn't even mention the Mandalorian. And then throughout the discussion of the Mandalorian, we talked about stuff in SWTOR, and we broadcasted the whole game from inside. Well, anyway, I said I wasn't gonna rant. See what happens, Seema. Anyway.
Yes.
I realize that they are working at volume, and they're just going off, whatever basic algorithms that they have to deal with, but that's fine. It also, in general, Reddit is not. We're not promoting anything. We don't have a Patreon. We don't have monetization on any of the platforms where we put anything anywhere. So it's not self-promotion. It's something we're trying to contribute to the community. But even so, I guess how people from the outside might think it is. So we'll just leave it off of there. There's other places to get it. And this is what I wanted to mention now is because we're not pushing it out on that as a feed anymore. If any of you have other places where we should push it out into a feed or get the word out, or if you all just want to mention it to someone who's new to Star Wars that, hey, if you're looking for stuff about the game, especially stuff about current game systems, recommend the podcast to them, because we want especially new people to hear about SWTOR, to get a little help along the way, and maybe hear about our guild and get that AIE-guild.org pointer so they can get more information and come play with us. That's the only reason we've ever done the podcast for 8 years now, and we want to keep that going. So the podcast is egging me along, egging me on, or ranting. I'm going to pen a strongly worded letter and write Reddit mods on the front of it and put it in the mailbox. All right, so that's that. Let's get to our segment. Here's the sound effect that we'll use to kick it off, and I'll tell you what it means. Here, listen. That means that's Rodian for Come One, Come All, the Feast of Prosperity welcomes everyone everywhere. Did you hear that? Could you hear that, Seema?
Yeah.
You could hear. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right. And since I do speak Rodian, I could.
Yes. Seema and I both
what...
are fluent in Rodian. Omitopi, everyone. Just wanted to throw that out there at you. Welcome, everyone. Feast of Prosperity, which is almost over. So this is the last few days. It will be done on Tuesday. I'm surprised they didn't take it through American Thanksgiving, but that's fine. So it was just a sort of a fall fest. It was 3 weeks. It will be 3 weeks by the time it's done. So starting now, we're going to talk a little bit about the feast and the story in particular. The story's not. It's not icy dead people. It's, we don't learn that Snape killed Dumbledore and that Rosebud was his sled. We're not spoiling all that much by talking about it.
Right.
But if you really are hardcore about spoilers and don't want it spoiled, then you might want to pause now and pick it back up as soon as you finish the story, which you better do in the next couple days, because as I said, it will be done on Tuesday. I named this. Did you see what I named this podcast episode? It's named Dessert. Oh, I didn't even tweet it out. So I'll tweet it out while I ask you the first question, which I'm sure you know is coming. But I named the podcast Dessert because it's coming after the feast. Get it?
Yeah. I did get it.
No, see, because it's the Feast of Prosperity, and then after you eat dinner, sometimes you have dessert. So that's why it's funny. We can laugh now. All right. So, as we're wrapping up and as we're going through the rest of the story and everything that's happened so far, and I've recorded it here, and I'll fast forward because I've got 42 minutes of recording. Well, I guess this includes all of the story plus one recording run through of each of the dailies and all the stuff you had to do on the planets as sort of the side questing. But I cut out like all the load screens and everything. Is still 42 minutes. And so it's a couple hours worth of content. Anyways, Seema, what do you think?
So I really liked the way the story quest sent you back to other planets. And I didn't think I would, because I thought it would be just like, tedious. They're making me travel. But actually had been a while since I'd gone through the town part of Rishi, and it was reminding me that I really like the design there and I like the music there. So I like that aspect of it. I enjoyed the story on this one a little bit more than the story on the swoop race for the same reason. It just seemed like there's a little bit more to it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know that that's really true, or if it just struck me that way personally, because they're both very lightweight stories. It's not, evil emperor lives in your heads level story, but
Yeah,
um,
I think it is a little bit more of a story. I think after the first week, I was curious to see where it would go, and realizing that I'm curious about what's really going on means that there was something there. So
yeah,
I think there was. Uh, so we'll go through it. The two main characters that we'll talk about, and then we'll talk about a bunch of the side characters, including the one that you just saw, which was the Festival Crier on the fleet. But the two main characters that you get to ponder their intentions are Gaburga and Duba. So Gaburga and Duba are the two huts that have teamed up. They are the uh, they represent sort of like a couple business partners that have decided to put this feast together. In theory, the way they describe it, and this is what you sort of have to figure out whether this is for real or not, but it's designed to be a festival for the underprivileged of the galaxy, get these feasts going on a whole bunch of planets, and make it available to everyone. Make it a charity event. Get people that wouldn't normally get to have this kind of food, or maybe that just need some food in general, to partake in the greater prosperity of the galaxy. So, no, noble. It sounds noble. As you kick it off, you get to so week one. The first thing you do after you talk to the guy on the fleet, the Rhodian on the fleet, they send you to meet the two huts. Gaburga is the first hut you talk to, and Duba is the second hut. As you talk to Gaburga, there's a bunch of conversation options to question a little bit about what's going on. I hear you saying that you're running a charity. Hey, huts aren't really known for their charity. What do you mean by that? Lay it out for me. As I went through the first week, it became pretty clear to me. You seemed to be more skeptical than I was. It became pretty clear to me right off that Gaburga was pretty evasive and seemed a little bit sketchy, and Duba to me seemed from right out of the gate more open and honest in my view. That was the sense I was getting. What did?
I mean, I totally get that. That's the sense you're supposed to get.
But you still were skeptical. You
I
still thought
I
there was a trap.
I didn't think that because Duba said I'm the good guy and the other guy's the bad guy, that meant he was actually the good guy. I think it's
But
like a fundamental difference between you and me.
I'm very trusting of everyone,
or
and
maybe
but
gullible would be a word, but
Seema's just cynical and jaded and just
yeah,
not
yeah.
doesn't trust or believe anyone.
I
So
require corroboration.
trust but verify, and then don't trust even after that.
Yeah, right. I mean, okay, so I don't want to go in more. I don't want to jump ahead in the story. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So you're supposed to wonder. I think you're supposed to wonder a little bit. So you talk to
I
Gaburga.
mean, because really, Duba, the way he tries to convince you that he's a good guy is by basically throwing Gaburga under the bus, which isn't exactly good guy behavior.
Kind of. See, I don't think he never really comes down too hard on Gaburga
Oh,
until
he
week
says,
3.
well, I guess, but he says, he's not who he thinks he is. I mean, he's not who he
I
presents
mean,
himself as, and he's like,
he sort of has some reservations, and he's kind of honest with you about the I mean,
right,
that's
and that
that's how I took it.
he doesn't say, yeah, and he calls him out by name and says, I have reservations about this guy. That is what I meant by throwing him under the bus. I guess you meant like there wasn't literally a bus driving through and he was under it. But
Space bus. There was a space bus.
yeah. And they're both huts.
They are
And
both
like
huts.
a hut
And
saying,
no, I
I'm
mean
going to share.
we have not really. I know we debated the how good or not good Ogrub is, but we've not really met very many huts at all, if any, that are on the up and up. So I could see it being a good question to ask and to wonder as you sort of go through this. Anyway, you talk to Gaburga, you talk to Duba, then you go back to Gaburga. This is still all in week 1. And here, let me go forward just a little bit here. Then you go back to Gaburga, and he says, "Okay, first thing, I want to get this going on more planets. I want the whole deal to be going on more planets. I want you to go to Rishi and see if you can help me get things set up on Rishi." Did I skip over the whole Rishi part? Or did I put it out of order in the video?
We haven't really talked too much about Rishi. Is that what you mean? The Rishi part?
I'm trying to see if I have the video. This is the I think I did the dailies. Then here's the cooking daily. We can come back to this after we go through the story. Oh, I must have cut out. See, I was trying to cut so much out, and I even cut out all of Rishi. Anyway, they send you to Rishi to do 3 things on Rishi. Yeah, I guess I cut all of Rishi out. Oh, well. I could
Because
probably
you were just
pull it up
anxious to get to Meksha.
Yes, which I do have in here. On Rishi, you have to do a couple things, which I liked. On Rishi, you get to, well, I liked because you had to steal some liquor. I thought that was a good time. You end up talking to 3 different people on Rishi. And you can go through this a little bit differently. What you do on Rishi in week 1 doesn't really affect the outcome, but what did it look like to you on Rishi, and which choices did you pick on what to do on Rishi, Seema?
So when I was talking to the guy on Rishi, the conquest toast that said, that what guild was owning Rishi came up on top of the dialogue with the guy. So I couldn't read it very well. And it wouldn't go away either until I kind of left and came back. So I wasn't exactly sure what I was picking, but I ended up picking from him the one where you go out and kill a few pirates, the Nova
Okay.
Blades.
Yep.
And by a few, I mean a few, it's just 5. So you go all the way out there, basically to the beach, and you kill 5, and then you go all the way back. So that's what I did on the first. And then I went to the next guy, and I helped with the water. I clicked on the water things. Oh, yeah, the Oro, and then in the middle you have to go to the Oro bird, and you're supposed to get the spleen of this
No,
rare
you do
Oro.
the Oro bird at the end. You're right.
Oh,
You
okay.
talk to what's her name? So the first guy you talk to, his name is Jack Burrs. In fact, I've got where's my email from Jack Burrs? He sends you an email afterwards, under some circumstances. Because I stole the wine. So I'll let me find that email. But then yes, then you're
I
right,
didn't get an email.
because you didn't steal the wine.
No, I
So
killed the pirates.
I will bring up that email because it's kind of hilarious to see that email. But so you killed the pirates, and then you talk to Navoli, another Rhodian, who says, "Hey, can you help me out?" And she wanted you to do the water things, right?
Yes.
To inspect. See, I didn't do that. I didn't do that for her. I didn't inspect. I threatened her.
You threatened her.
Well, because this was week 1, and then the first couple days,
Yeah.
the recommendation was everybody. There's a million people there, so killing the guys might take you a little bit longer. So maybe you just the recommendation was go steal the wine and threaten the girl. I think that's a 70s song. Steal the wine, threaten the girl.
Except you didn't have to really kill anybody, but go ahead.
But didn't you have to? Oh, you didn't kill the pirates. You just punched them in the
I
face a
mean,
couple times.
if they're already dead because there's a lot of people, then you just click on the thing.
Oh. I see. So you didn't have to kill 5 Nova Blades or whatever?
No, I did have to kill 5 Nova Blades. That was the first guy.
Right.
Oh, but when I went to do the water things, all I had to
That's
do was
that's
cook
what I
on
meant.
them because the pirates around them were all dead.
Yeah, no, I meant the first round of killing the Nova Blades. So I didn't even have to
Yeah,
kill any Nova Blades. I just went to the
yeah.
cantina and stole the wine.
Oh, I thought stealing the wine was instead of the water thing. Sorry.
No, then
Okay.
the water thing. If you just threaten her, you don't even have to do the water thing. She just says, okay,
Oh,
you
okay.
know, you don't have to do anything.
Alrighty.
Yeah.
Alrighty.
And then the oral bird. Then you need to go talk to oral bird girl, who's a Salonian. Her name is Shale the Salonian, and she's a weasel girl, which is what the Salonians look like. They look like weasel people.
But I mean, even before I talked to her, I did not want to kill an oral bird for its spleen.
Well, then, what did you do instead? Did you get an opportunity to not have to kill an oral bird?
Yeah, I did. I could either go kill a Torakan, which is like not a mob that's endangered, or you could just not do anything. I went and killed the Torakan and get like the fake oral bird spleen.
So you did get the fake spleen.
Yeah.
I just did neither and said,
Screw you.
Up yours, Geburga. I'm not. I got no time for this. I think that in fact, I think it was a conversation option.
Geborga take that?
He didn't care, so
Really?
that was just fine. Yeah, actually, in the
So
dialogue, you
he had
do a hollow
nothing to
call
give.
immediately afterwards, and he didn't even mention it. He's like,
Oh, like
whatevs.
he was totally fooled by the fake spleen, and he gave it to Chef Napopopotis.
Napopopopotis, who we end up not liking later, but well, I end up not liking later. But right, so you had 3 options there. You could kill the birds, you could save the birds and get the fake spleens, or the alternate species spleens, or you could just skip it altogether. Geborg is just happy that we're getting Rishi on the map for the feast, and so he was like, fine.
Oh, that makes sense.
I
I mean, I did hover over that choice, right? Because like I had to ask myself where I was drawing the line, right? Because I didn't want to kill the special oral bird for its spleen.
Because you were probably riding your jeweled oro bird as you rode into that area,
Right,
weren't you?
right. But then I thought, if I don't kill a Torakan, that's another thing too, because like how many people and critters and beasts have I killed already for their various body parts and possessions?
Right.
So I
Right.
didn't want to be.
Yeah. You're pretty murderous in general.
Yeah, that's right. I am.
And in game as well. So there's that.
And in game as well, right?
I stole the wine because if there's a chance to visit a cantina, why not? And then so I didn't find a mailbox, but I've got the field mail droid, Jack. What's his name again? Jack Burrs shot me this email afterwards. So I don't know if he's drunk or he just can't write good because he's a pirate. But it's a little hard to see this, I'm sure. But it's all like spelled really bad, and punctuation is way off, and there's like capitals in the middle of words. But he's like, "Thank you," with 2 U's and an A in the middle of the thank, and he's like, "Hey, a friend, wanted to say thanks again for nabbing me that fine Corellian wine," with a lot of eyes in the wine. Ain't tasted nothing like it. Yeah, I'll do it in my pirate voice. Ain't tasted nothing like it, and I've had some sweet libations in my day. But you should have seen the kind of beverages they're putting out at your feast. I'd say, make that Corellian wine you nab taste like swill from these parts, but you snagging it from that stingy barkeep makes it extra sweet. Lots of E's.
Lots of E's, yeah.
And make sure you thank Mr. Obeluga. He spells it.
Yeah, he always gets the names wrong.
Obeluga for the gift. Already vote for him and his feast in the last tribunal meeting. Sure was kind of him sending a little something extra my way. So obviously he got bribed as well, is what we're hearing there. But that, somebody had fun writing this, authoring this email. Oh, I also got here, Jazdit, the Tribunal Elder, also sent me an email. And this one was a nastygram because I threatened the girl. I forgot about this. And so Jazdit, the Tribunal Elder, says, Navoli had a very interesting piece of business during our last tribunal meeting. She insisted we let that hut bring his shindig to Rishi, even though she's been against it up till now. I knew something smelled fishy. I cornered her after the meeting, and she told me what you did to her. That's a strange way to go about spreading charity, friend. You may have gotten a scuzzball like Jack Burr's wrapped around your finger, but I don't appreciate you threatening my friends. I'll be keeping an eye on this feast of yours. You can count on that.
I mean, he's got a point.
He does have a point. I felt bad threatening her, but I was told that that was the quick and easy path, which of course leads to the dark side.
And
so
doing what you were told is also the quick and easy path. So it's like meta. Quick
it
and
is.
easy.
It is. Yeah. It is. It is meta, and I deserve my sternly worded letter. So there you go. So that was week 1. Not a lot, but fine. And leaves you wondering, okay, what really is going on here? Obviously, there is some shenanigans going on. Is it both of them, or is it just one of them? We tune in. We get back to the whole event in week 2. I lost my little video here. Let me bring it back up. In week 2, we get to come back, say hi, and this mostly starts out with Duba saying, "Hey, thanks for helping out there. Thanks for getting things going on Rishi. We've got a couple more things going on though. I wonder if you could help." So this series, you don't have many choices. You only end up doing the right thing week 2, and in a nice way. And I felt like that was fine. At least make everybody do something nice once in a while. I don't think is too bad. So this is the part where he sends you to Meksha. And the story here is there is a chef. He doesn't like the chef too much, Chef Popotis or whatever. He says, I've got another chef in mind that I'd like to add into the whole deal. Could you go to Meksha and see if you can find her? Her name is Nura Yendo. She was hanging out on Meksha and now nobody can find her. What can you do? So I went to Meksha, of course. Here, what? Oh, this is the video where first you go talk to the line cook and get him to tell you where you can find Yendo. So I talked to him and I'm like, I think you can either threaten him or he'll tell you regardless. So you can do a couple things. You can threaten or not threaten. And then after you do that, I guess, do you have to go back? Oh, so it's when you come back, then you do the deliveries. So first they say, go find Yendo. This was pretty straightforward. Did you have any, commentary on, did you get the brothers spawning every time you use the Mac binoculars, or to me, it didn't seem like every time.
No.
Okay,
It
so I
was
think
like
it was just a
once or
chance.
twice. Yeah.
So
Yeah,
I think,
I like the fact that when you use the macro binoculars, it was instant.
oh, like you didn't have to do these guys, I didn't realize these guys just both threw flamethrowers on me. Watch this. I went back too far. Back it up. So when I open this fight against the brothers at the end here, there's, look, two big flamethrowers from the sides, and now everybody's on fire. Shea Vizsla's on fire. I'm on fire. Everybody's on fire. Both those guys are on fire. We're all on fire. We're all on fire here. How are you?
It's a cooking thing.
It's a cooking thing. And then we meet up with Nura, right? Yeah, Nura Yendo. That's her name. So Nura Yendo, she was being sort of, she was going to get shipped off by the brothers. They're the slavers on Meksha who, unless you're evil Darksider, you should certainly not like, because they are the jerkiest of jerks. I guess she had some gambling problems.
Right, on the swoop races, no less.
Oh, that's right, on the swoop races. We tell her, hey, we can get you off of Max Shaw. We can get you to join up with this feast, and she kind of jumps at the chance. I like her character model. She's a
Will Smith
Will
baby.
Smith baby. I don't even know the species anymore. I can't even say it. I keep want to say Tigruda, which is no, it's not Tigruda. Tortuga.
No, Nautilin.
Nautilin. There you go. I also liked. I forgot. Oh, did she say what the name? It's like Tauntaun Steak Company.
Yeah.
Is where she is running her operation out of right now. Anyway, you go back. There's I like the little neon sign above the Tauntaun Space Steak Company.
Where he's wagging his tail. But why should he when he's gonna be made into a steak?
Because it keeps the steaks nice and tender. I don't know.
They're served
like
lukewarm, by the way.
Yes, you got it. You did it. Yes, and you beat me to it. What temperature are the Tauntaun steaks? Lukewarm. Well, on the inside at least. She is happy, and then I think you get a holo call to say, okay, now, Duba calls you back up and he says, I need you to finish the deliveries. Gaburga wanted you to deliver. He had 3 care packages, and they were actually bribes that were supposed to go to gang leaders. So you can see here, you call up, and Duba, and now here you're really getting a sense that Duba's trying to do the right thing, in my mind. Seema still hates him. In fact, she's just going to force choke both the Hutts, because that's what she does. He's saying, hey, if you do that, it's not really going to go to the people that really need it. Here's 3 contacts out there, people that really need these care packages. If you could go track them down, that would be the right thing to do. You don't have choices here. You can't not track them down. I can turn the sound back on here. We can hear Burga be talking. So I liked this. I liked that we could sort of do a nice thing in the spirit of the Feast of Prosperity. Oh, did you see me take a little drink out of the... So here's the first girl. I cut it when I went in here, but first I have to stop at the bar if you're in a cantina and take a little drink, and then you talk to the first contact, and it's a Twi'lek dancer, and she's a mom. She's down on her luck, and you give her the little care package, and she's so happy, and she says, this is maybe going to get me off of Max Shaw, and I can take the kids, and we can go, start over someplace nice. I thought that was nice. I was pretty happy with that. So she was first up. The second one, who is second? Oh, the Hopeful Petitioner. And I got an email from the Hopeful Petitioner as well. So the second one is actually a guy who runs an orphanage. So here this is where I did some cuts to get to it a little bit faster. This guy runs an orphanage. You give him the care package, and he's like, "Oh my gosh! And are you sure this is for us? Because people don't do this kind of thing." Again, I thought this was I felt really good about myself helping these pixels.
Yeah, I like the orphanage one.
So if you check your email, if you did the orphanage one, well, because everybody did, you do get an email back from him with some notes. In fact, let me bring it up, with some notes here that says with what the orphans. My email droid isn't back up, so I'll read that in a minute. But the orphans used the funds to buy like a toy. One got a toy. One got like a blanket to stay warm at night. Wow, rough life. And then the third one, which we'll get to here. What species? So chat room, what species is Skadge? I don't know what species that is. Blobikins, meat bag, saggy potato sack people.
He's a hook.
Hook. Oh, I guess
Yeah,
that sounds.
HOUK.
So here's a hook. And he's like this. This I'm gonna pause the voice here because I want to listen to it a little more. He's the saddest voice character in the whole game.
Yeah.
They so here's something interesting. Well, before I forget about it, and I saw this actually in Volk's post, so I don't know where he got the info, but his note on this was done when they couldn't get any of their voice actors. The whole studio was on lockdown.
Right.
So all of this was stock audio or generated audio for all of the alien voices, which you can see. So there's no spoken word besides alien voices in the whole of the feast, which
Right.
is, so that's why you're talking to Rhodians and Huts and all that. Well, anyway, you're talking to this Hook and listen to him talk. My back hurts so much. He just wants his back.
I wonder how
fixed
they
so he can
did
go
that.
back to work.
I mean, if
that's what I'm saying. Yeah, no, you're right. I'm wondering the
like
same
maybe
thing.
maybe they can sort of like auto tune it up to higher and lower, make it go up, rise up and down. I don't know, but maybe they just had this kind of dialogue of a really upset Hook in the database.
Right, because it's not just standard Rhodian Omitopi being belted out.
Yeah,
it's
I mean,
it's acted. It's emoted. In
hopefully they can
Hook,
search their database
Hookies.
and it's not like our what we have to go through to find something.
No, I don't think that's possible. They painstakingly, flip through a single folder with 3,000 audio files.
In no order.
In no order. I hope that's what they had to do. Anyway, you talk to these guys, then you go back and you say hi to Duba, and he says, "Great job, thanks a lot. Glad you saved Nura and got those packages delivered on Mek Shah. Helped so many people. I feel like things are heading in the right direction." Although, again, he says a little bit about, Gaburga was not going the right way here, and I'm not so happy about that. And that finishes off week 2. So then you get to week 3, and everything's going off the rails. Now it's all under the covers. It's Duba and Gaburga, and they're having a big throwdown. They're keeping it behind the scenes. They don't want to disrupt the whole feast process, and derail the event. But they're in a big fight. They each have a chef now. So there's Papotis and there's Nura Yumbadurba. What's her name? Nurayendo. Yeah, Nurayendo. And they decide, fine, let's have a little contest, and whoever wins, they get control, and the other one has to shut up about it and go about your business. So what Duba says is, this is what the deal is. If you can help out, I've got some things that I think could help our chef side win. Gaburga says the same thing. I think we really need to run this thing as a business. He never fully admits. I kind of wish Gaburga at this point really just opened up and said, some people are going to get helped anyway, but I got to turn a profit here. I'm going to cut you in and forget these. Let's throw all this under the bus, and business is business, and that's life. And you'll make your money, I'll make my money, and this will all be what it needs to be, and nobody's going to get in my way. I wish they had gone full on, make because he still sort of equivocates and holds up the con throughout the end. Like, oh no, we still want to just, still need to maintain control to do it this way because it's the best
This is the
way.
best way. Yeah.
Anyway, if you help him, this is where you get to make a serious choice. If you help Gaburga and take the quick and easy and profitable path, it's the bad side, and Duba's the good side. That's at least my view. So did you come around by week 3 that Gaburga's the bad guy and Duba's the good guy, or do you still think they're both bad?
No, I think Duga's probably on the up. Duba, sorry, is probably on the up and up.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know about good versus bad, right? Because I mean, there is something to be said for Gaburga's take on it, right? Like charities in general do oftentimes, wine and dine rich people trying to get donations.
Yeah. But he's like passing off bribes to gangs and not giving.
And he's like, he tries to fix the cooking contest.
Yeah, he sabotages the cooking contest. He's bribing gangs. He's not giving care packages to the actual, feast participants that need it. No,
well, I mean, we assume that.
now you're going the other way. You think like they're both fine. And now you think Gaburga's got a point. Seema's
I'm actually, it's the same side. I think they both are sort of huddy and questionable.
Right. So which did you pick which did you pick?
Oh,
to
I
support?
did. I picked Duba because I listened to them both twice, and I'm like, I don't want to pick either of these guys.
Really? Duba's a really nice guy. He's like the nicest hut in the galaxy. He's totally he like saved the chef. He like helped the orphans. All he wants is for it to be what it is.
His move, he lost his temper and decided to risk everything on a cooking contest. I'm like, that's not smart.
Well, it was either that or get like tossed off the island by Gaburga. So
what island?
But you voted off the island. He would have not have survived or whatever.
No, they got in an argument. He got mad, and this is the result of him getting mad. He wasn't in any danger of getting kicked out that I read.
Maybe.
I mean, it's fine. I mean, I didn't want to go, and I knew I didn't want to go and collect, extreme ingredients for Chef Popotus.
You didn't want to kill more aura birds.
I mean, I do think that if you want to help people that are starving, the more food you give them, the better. Not the better food you give them, the better.
Yes, I completely agree.
So that's why I did Duba.
Yeah. Burga is doing his thing. You go and talk to Duba. So let's see again. What does Duba say here? Glad you're here. Hope you have a moment. Yes. Is everything all right? I'm afraid not. I feel like everything I wanted to do with the feast is slipping away. He's like so sincere. Things have reached a tipping point with Gaburga. He keeps challenging my authority, arguing over how to run this event, but that's not all. I know he's been siphoning money away, making deals with corrupt politicians. The list goes on. I feel like an idiot for believing he was doing this for good reasons. I thought he was just like me, a hut with a past he was trying to change. Yesterday, during yet another argument about how to allocate funds for our expansion to Tatooine, I snapped. You're right, he did snap, so that's on him. I told him I was sick of using this event to line his pockets, and I challenged him to a battle, a cooking battle. I can explain. We can't afford to have the feast of prosperity or prosperity leadership, but we can't go on like this either. One of us needs to be in charge, calling the shots without argument. So we make the battle look like part of the feast. This is how it.
Yeah.
This is,
So maybe he couldn't conceive of any way where he could win except for something fairly random like this.
right. That's what I took it as. I mean, it was like there was no way out besides him just stepping away. So at least there was a chance here, and he has a lot of faith in Nura. So I also picked Duba.
But why does he have faith in Nura? Because I mean, her claim to fame is that she can make lots of food, lots of nourishing food.
I don't know, because she's good, because it's good.
Okay.
Good
right.
beats evil.
All right, Matt. Go.
I don't know.
Moving on.
Or maybe he doesn't have a lot of faith in her. He's at his wit's end, and he's just trying one last thing. And if else, he's just gonna step away and go do something else. So fine.
Yeah.
But he also has a secret weapon, which is what he asks you to go do, which is go find these 3 recipe datacrons that are out there, which he thinks, you know, it's not all about just like the finest spleen.
Yeah. Right.
If you go get a really good recipe with legitimate ingredients, that you could win that way. So that's what I did. So this is where you go to the 3 planets, and either one you go to 3 planets, and then you do a mouse droid thing with either hut, and you go to the same 3 planets. If you're doing Duba, you go to Voss, then where do you go? You go to Voss, then Andron, then Dantooine.
Andron, yeah, but you can do them in any order, I think.
Yeah, I think you can, although they show up in order on your galactic map, I noticed, which is why I did them in order. Because I was trying to figure out, you know, rather than search on the map, the yellow triangle just showed up in the next one in line. So that was nice.
Gotcha.
If you're doing it for Gaburga, you're going to the same 3 planets. You're just killing things for their spleen or whatever. More spleens. It's all spleens up in here. It's spleen.
All spleens all the time. The cafe of spleens.
Yes. I liked. I didn't look up a guide. I searched around for the datacrons. I cut this out a little bit because, let me back up.
I
it did
searched.
Take me just a second or 2.
The first planet I went to was Voss, and I searched for about 3 minutes, and then I looked up a guide.
I searched. I ended up not looking up a guide. I searched around, and then I realized it could be in the building. And I was able to find it quick once I finally went into the building. And then I was like, oh.
Yes. Okay. See, I went in the building and I kind of eyeballed around and then I didn't see it. And yeah, then I thought, because
you must be a droid, a computer construct to have used your eyeballs to find things.
Yeah.
Throwback to last week.
Yeah.
Where is that? Where is that datacron? Let me use my eyes to search things with my robotic, computerized future machinery.
Right. You're talking about Zero, yeah. On The Mandalorian. But yeah. So when I looked in the cantina, I didn't go behind and look on the shelf. I just looked around for something clickable, which that did not serve me well. And then I went back outside, and then there was a guy there that was like, whispered me, "Hey, are you looking for the thing?" I'm like, "Yes." And he goes, "Well," I thought he was going to tell me where it is. He goes, "Well, let me know when you find it."
Are you still looking for the thing? Yeah, I am. Yeah, me too. It'd be funnier if he said, "Yeah, good luck," and just left.
Later, Seema.
Do you want to know where it is? Yeah, I do. I bet you do. Hearthon out of there.
But I did tell him where it was when I found it. I mean, and by find it, I mean read the guide and then go there.
So I went to Andron, second one, and I found it pretty quick. And you can see here, I clipped it out because again, I was trying not to have an hour of video here to have to scroll through. This person, they must have been with a friend, and they were trying to tell their friend, "Hey, it's over here." They were standing there in front of the stupid little datacron. They're standing there jumping up and down. I'm like, Are you going to click it? Because I'll click it if you don't click it. And I'm saying this in chat. They don't say anything. They don't say anything. The friend comes over. The friend stands around there. The friend finally clicks it. And then a third person comes and clicks it next. Thankfully, this, again, was done right. It turns blue right away again. I didn't have to, like, wait 5 minutes for it to respawn. But if you're going to stand in front of a stupid quest object and somebody comes up and asks you about it, then maybe, you know, you could reply.
Yeah, if you're going to go AFK, step away from the quest item.
They weren't even AFK. They were jumping up and down. And I'm sitting there talking and /say, hey. And I wonder if my text is even, I'm like, are you gonna click that? Because I'll click it if you're not gonna click it. No, I got a little mad. And I cut it out of the video because
got a little mad.
But I didn't. Yep. I didn't say anything in chat. And then you go to Dantooine for the last things. What do you got to get on Dantooine?
And then I wished I was on my pub character, but I wasn't.
On Dantooine?
Yes.
Why?
Because it's farther.
Oh.
It's like a foot farther.
Well, I did the quick travel to the second bind point. Which is
that's a pro move, man.
And then I found that one in there.
I just rode my Bejeweled Aura Word. No, I didn't because I was on a different character. But
is it Bejeweled? I don't think
no,
it's Bejeweled.
It's not. No, it isn't.
It's Bedazzled. It's her Bedazzled jewel.
Yeah.
And then you talk to your holocron, you talk to Duba. He says, thank you, but you got to come back and you got to help me out. And either way, you do a mouse droid quest.
Mm-hmm.
If you do Gaborga, you sabotage things. If you do Duba, you unsabotage things.
I mean, in a way, this is the most telling part right here.
Right. Yeah, because Gaborga's cheating. Because he's a cheater, liar, cheat, scammer, bad guy.
Yeah, which is amazing because, you know, most Hutts are not.
No, what you would expect, but Duba's a good guy. Didn't you hear his tone of voice when I translated?
So, I was dreading this when they said, "Oh, you have to go do a mouse droid thing." I'm like, "Oh no," because I thought it was going to be like,
dodge
this, sneak by that, don't fall in that kind of thing. But it was refreshingly straightforward, and I was fine. It was fine. It was very short.
But there was all these astromechs freaking out. I just wanted to kick them out of an
airlock. You had to fix them instead.
So here you go and you fix the astromechs. You ride.
Right. And after I fixed them, and that was easy, and I said, you go in the kitchen. Okay, here comes the part that I'm going to hate.
But you didn't hate that either yet.
No.
You just fix a couple things.
And I like that you go through this. You go this little tunnel. It's like a little
I like the
mouse droid sized tunnel for you to go through.
And it's not actually a tunnel. It's a little it's a little thing you click that actually teleports you to the other side because they didn't have it.
It looks like a little tunnel.
Yeah, it looks like a little tunnel. You fix the stove. They're shorting out a little bit. The stove.
And also, I kind of wish like real life was like this too. It's like something's broken, just click on it. It's fixed.
Yeah, just click. Just click it. Then it's a quick. You do the 3 planets. You do the mouse droid thing. You go back and talk to the Hutt, and they say, you know, thanks. You did it. You hadn't been there, Gaborga would have ruined everything. The judge is about to announce the results. Fingers crossed. See, he's just such a nice guy. So then you talk to the head judge. See, and it's like one line of text. The head judge says,
guess what? You win.
Surprise! You're the winner. It's whatever you did. It makes that Hutt win. Whatever Hutt you picked. And it's over. And you get the completion of the story. I think that's where I got the magnanimous title. Or you get the abundant or whatever is the other title for doing it the other way.
I wonder what it's going to be like next year now, though. Is it going to like start all over again?
Probably. I don't think it's going to change. Just like, well, I mean, then maybe they'll add to it.
Well, I mean, other events don't have a story that has a beginning, a middle, and an end, like this one.
Right.
Like
Right.
like where Duba goes back to thinking, maybe he's okay. Like or you go back and once again they're both, Gaborga and Duga are both working together and they have to like unseat each other again.
I don't know. I would at
It wouldn't be that
least
hard for them to just set it up so that if you've done it before, it's the way it was. But then you'd miss out on 30,000 token, 30,000 rep or 30,000, rep.
30,000 credits, 18,000 renown points. No rep.
No, I thought it was 10,000 something for each part of the
Oh, for
story.
maybe for each part. What do you get? Oh,
Yeah.
it's 1,000 tokens of the currency
Oh,
for
maybe that's what I'm.
the end.
It was
last
enough
part.
currency to buy myself a pet.
Something
so that was
pretty.
happy.
Fried
Cute,
oral
cute.
bird. A plate of fried oral bird. Spleen.
No, the thingy.
As the chat rooms, was it Force Chuckle who said, "Let me explain it to you, Seema."
Yeah.
I like that.
The Mandalorian pet thing. The
Thob. I'm probably logged out. Oh, let me log back in. Is that what it's called? Like a Thob, Thurb, Blurg? Not a blurg.
It's not a
was the
blurg.
mud. It was the mud.
The Mudhorn. Yes, Mudhorn.
The Mudhorn.
The hairless Mudhorn. That's what I got. I didn't have enough tokens to also get the Thurb. Oh, I know. That's not right. I do have enough. Bye.
So
I
I did not do all of the achievements, but there are extra achievements you can look up. We won't go through all of them here. There's a couple good guides out there. Check up for those. You get achievements for, I mean, there's some achievements like do all of the quests, do all of the two hard mode quests 25 times each.
He's cute. He's got a little underbite.
The Mudhorn?
The Thurb. The Thurb.
Strom Thurbman. That's what I'm gonna name him. I got a bunch of stuff. I got the 2 disguised terminals. I got the Ugnaught. I got the emote. I don't know if I ended up. I think I got the Mudhorn already. I don't know if I got the other. I got the mount. And before the weekend is done, we'll be sure to get the Thurb if I don't have it yet. I'll get some of the extra decos, and I already got the droid deco also. Oh, the hat. That was what I haven't gotten yet. I need to get the hat. The food launcher. I guess I should get the food launcher. Somebody was shooting me with the food launcher on Tuesday. Kind of like the food launcher. It's just salad. It's like you got. It looks like some sort of like nature effect because you got like these leaves that are like floating around you. It doesn't look like a gross food fight mess. It looks like a leafy fall experience. So yeah, so there you go. There's the feast. There's the feast story. Good hut, bad hut. Little something to take you through it. I thought it was nice to have the story to frame the event. Otherwise, it would have been, some fine dailies. I thought they were the table delivery daily I thought was fine. The cooking daily I kind of liked. And then the world bosses I thought was fun because they were working really well. But just doing those dailies, 3 times, for 3 weeks in a row without a story to frame it would have seemed to me to be almost as lightweight as just throwing snowballs at droids.
Yeah, no, you're right. Yeah, I liked having the story.
So even if the story wasn't all that deep or all that long, it still frames the event, and so I like.
And I personally don't really need it to be long. I just like it to provide a little color.
Yeah, exactly. So I think that was pretty well done. Well done to have it at all. Um, it wasn't. Sure, we would love story that lasts for hours and has got a bunch of intrigue and that kind of thing, but that's not
And it
really
was pretty
realistically
creative
what's
to,
happening.
use all aliens since they couldn't get voice actors.
Yeah, it didn't really uh, strike me as out of place or a loss. I'm glad they were voiced. I get how I couldn't be voiced. Your character couldn't be voiced in this kind of thing, especially because they couldn't get the voice actors. But also that would have been a lot of expense and work. So I think that was fine. But I was fine with the alien voice. I like the alien speech. It's done well. It sounds good.
But, before we leave, I'll just say we did get some voice acting in the little blurb, Shea Vizsla, that came out.
Right. So I don't. The, this came out at the same time. You explain this because I haven't done it yet. I've got it here in my
Yeah.
quest log. I will show people what it looks like in the quest log. It came out at
Yeah.
the same time 2 weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
Launch to begin mission, meeting Jakaya Ordo. So what
Right.
is this?
So when you launch it, it's a really short little thing, but it's still spoilers if you want to experience it yourself. But if you launch it, then you go to Odessa and it's a meeting with you and Shay and this guy, Jakaya Ordo, who's there via holocall. And apparently he's the guy who runs the clan, sort of the day-to-day operations, and Shay Vizsla's like the warrior queen role, but he's the one who does the day-to-day operations, and he just wants to meet you to, size you up and, take your measure, and um it's just a little conversation between the three of you.
So B. Kavanaugh in the chat room is saying that this is almost like a little bit of a breadcrumb, a lead up to the
Yeah.
Mando flashpoint that's coming up.
I I d- I I believe that it's a setup for something, yeah. I mean, the
And
beginning of
I
some.
forgot about that. That there was supposed to be a flashpoint that was sort of on the roadmap as part of some stuff that was coming in this content cycle. I guess I didn't. I don't know if I knew for sure there was a Mandalorian flashpoint of some kind. But okay, all right. That sounds
But I really
that
liked it
sounds
because
interesting.
it seemed like a supernatural conversation between you and Shay. You're kind of sharing ideas about leadership style, and it's not very long, and I just liked it.
Makes me. I mean, I almost forgot that we've got a content cycle and a story going on.
Yeah, I was just consumed by the feast stuff, really.
Yeah. Like, where's Malgus? I want to find out where Malgus is. He is unchanged, unchained. He is off the leash. He's out there somewhere, and he's my bud. I want to team up with him because he's got some good ideas especially on the Imperial side. If you're gonna have to have an emperor on the Imperial side, he had some good ideas. He was like, let's get all the species together. Let's all team up. Let's forget this infighting amongst the Sith. It's bad for business. That seemed like all good ideas to me.
Yep,
So Malgus, Emperor Malgus is he's my he's I I'll vote for
you'd
that.
vote for him. Yeah.
I'll buy that for $1. There's another thing I'll buy for $1. All right, but that sort of wraps it up. And I missed that completely. I guess it just shows up in your quest log with a launch mission button. So go after that if you haven't seen it yet, and keep that connection going. And hopefully before too long, we'll get to see where that leads us, which is cool. And with that, I think episode 359 is done, and EPC 359 is ready to get kicked out of an airlock to broadcast this episode to all of you. For podcast news and where this is coming from and what we're doing next week, follow me on Twitter at MaxTheGray. And if you know anybody who should be listening to this, people that are new to the game in particular, let them know. Point them to us. Point them to us on any of the feeds, newoverlords.com, or specifically send them to aie-guild.org. Our guild Discord is in the upper right of the guild website there. We have a couple blog posts that go up a couple times a month of new events across our community, across a bunch of the MMOs. I think I put one up there recently around a bunch of people that are in the dual universe beta, myself included, with some of the ships that I've built, yada, yada, yada. But it is some good stuff going on there. A lot of Star Wars things going on. A bunch of ops teams that people can come and join in our fun nights on Tuesdays and Fridays that are open to everyone. AIE-guild.org. We would love to have you. Come find us. We'll get you a guild invite. And with that, we'll talk to you soon.
Later, everyone.